look at nothing. Let's look at their folder structure. One thing that's thing that actually like emphasize more on this thing is that what's called folder structure, which is that what's called app config. This app config does not actually have anything for now, but this is where you can create your configuration files into. They actually support it very well like that. Also, they have what is called there is also what is called table registry, that where you input your table. Now let's look at where our table is. Yeah, oh, our table is inside the module. Okay, we get there later then. So let's look at controller then. So controller is just a class. It does not extend anything, which means it don't have any additional power given to controller. So that's what I noticed here because it's just a class that you can create yourself. So it's usually like a template of how it works. They don't have additional power given to the controller. So now controller is just a class that have a method in it. Yeah, it's just a class that have a method in it. So just create a method, and this method are your handler. It's a handler for the request for all your routes and requests. So that is the controller for you. Another thing you have what's called middleware. And middleware are actually, well, as I have been explaining before, they are the one that you use to guide or a rules that you put in place before your code runs. So you have your middleware. You have what is called also modules, and modules is a way where you declare your middleware or your data or anything that you actually declare. Now you create your modules, extend it, and this is created for you, and they have a CLI that you can use to create it for you. Now currently they don't support. You don't need to add this for them. If you want to, you don't want to have what's called UID. I want you to create it for you. You don't need to have this currently. Or if you have it, no problem. Like you want to have integer, you want to override it. You don't need to have. I think I don't like having this at all. Just remove it. I just have a title and subtitle. Then I have the UI also. Also this I don't want this also. Then also created art also is added by them automatically by doing that automatically. You don't need to have this. Now let's look at routes. That is model for you, the model for you. Sorry, that was called the routes. Now let's look at routes. Now this is just a function of routes that takes what's called the input of Flint, like a type of Flint, and makes use of it here. So that's what this function is all about. And we have this also. And this what they did here, this is how they document their application. They support documentation or means what do they call it? It supports Swagger documentation out of the box for you. And to actually make use of that, you just need to press this and press what's called Flint. Um, uh, Flint, what is called make. Let me just see. Okay, yeah. Like press make, I can see the what they have. So generate docs. So it's docs generate that what you have. So let's say Flint docs dot generate, that's your generate. So this is just all. Now we have these two things. Can you see? First thing that we have summary. So the summary is what I talk about your application, like the summary of your routes. Oftentimes, anytime you want to write your route like this, you should write it on top of your route like this. So summary, you put your summary there. You have server, like server is going to be the endpoint or the main point that you are actually like making use of. So you can have double of them like normal Swagger. Then we have this also. Now Flint also they actually take up. If you don't put this this thing there automatically, they can actually take it automatically. But if you put params, you put your ID, you put the paths, you put the integer required and everything. Those things are going to be very essential to explain what you're actually doing than just having this. But you have this also, you're going to reflect that, you want to take it automatically and make it to be your params also. And that's that we have here. You look at this here, there's something called a prefix here, which means that we need a prefix. So our main endpoint is not just slash, which means that it's not just a home directory. It has a prefix. This is to make our Swagger to be aware that this endpoint is not just the slash endpoint or the home endpoint. It has a prefix. And then we have what's called a summary also. You see that this endpoint is for creating user. And what are the response are you expecting from this response? And what are the body what you are expected to take in? So let's just go into the data and see. So to see the document, you just go to doc like this, slide docs, your docs. Oops, I don't know why it's not showing anything. Let me see the yeah, it is docs. Yeah, you have the docs already. Oh, the reason why we're not seeing anything is actually very simple. I just discovered that now. It's because in our main route, in our this main application, there's need to say that enable Swagger documentation. You set it true. I send it through. That's when I'm going to have access to this that I'm talking about. Oh, I have stopped the application. I just need to run it again. I do that again. I will say I will say run this one, and let's wait for it to serve the application for us. So now we need to enable our Swagger. When you enable it, that's where we actually like make it work. So let's continue looking at our application. Also, we have what's called prefix also for this. And params also, if you notice, we are going to check it again together. Params for the put request, params is going to be taken by itself automatically, and also this put together is going to be taken by itself automatically also by your by Flint that. And we have what is called a prefix, then this auth. Now this is how you tell your documentation that this route is not just a route for routing sake, it has authentication that you need to put your player token or another thing there. So now we may need to just look at something because there's a lot of things. Now, this is let's look at it. Now, when you use a token like this, or token like this, it's going to give you access to use the two together, which is let's look at it. Now, we have actually like enabled this to refresh it. And can you see? We have it, and there's auth here. Now, if you look at your auth here, it takes barrier token and like barrier token. Now, you can also like, oh, I'm not taking barrier token. I want what's called basic auth. I say basic like this. Now I need to regenerate the file, which will mean that we are not even need to be saved per se. So when I come back here, if I refresh it, now okay, the basic doesn't really like work, it doesn't understand what basic I write now. That's why it does not put anything there. So I need to put what's called basic auth, I guess. If I don't get, I'm going to need to go and check it. So after I did that, I need to run the guy again. And run this guy again. So now as I put basic auth there, it's give me this basic auth automatically. So now I also have what you call a barrier token. So I put barrier token, it's going to take the two together. So if I run the JSON again, so then just refresh it. Oh, sorry, now I've saved it. Okay, so we need to add it. Also, it doesn't like understand what I just did now. Okay, I can't remember. I guess it's just normal player token. I may need to check later. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, that the paper is actually correct. I can't just put them together. That's what happened. So let me just refresh it. Oh, I'm not actually like generated. So let me see. I'm going to generate for us. So paper is actually correct, but I can just put the two together. Okay, that's what happened. So yeah, and the barrier is correct. Now, also, if you want to put the two together, it should be in front of the like the barrier is going to be first, then the basic auth later. So let's look at that. Our route, you want to be user route. That's called then basic auth. I just want to show if it's going to work. So let's see. Not found. So let's see. Yeah, okay, we can't put the two. You need to just use one. See. Actually, you don't even need to save to like reload your this for this swagger to work. But this one you need to reload it. Okay, so what it means that you cannot just use one. You can either use layer token or just one. So now when you press, you need to press generate first before it's generate itself. So now the next thing we need to now look at, now we are done with the full structure and we have seen what they have for us. And then there's another thing that they have what is called a mail. So when they generate mail, you can write your email. Even you use your use the view this logic thing to write your email for them. Then what happens is that let's look at their documentation and see how they do something. Routes, you can see they have what you call their hard like this. Then they have middleware. Now they have what you call use middleware. You can use it on your top of your routes. Let's assume that you are here, that this route you don't want to be accessible for anybody. You can just say dot use middleware and put the middleware inside of it like this. So now if I come like this, if I now refresh it, it will tell me unauthorized. Okay. So now you have unauthorized. So that is that for you. Then another thing you need to look at today, you have look at middleware, you have look at just overhaul of this that we're talking about. Odds validation, we're going to do that one later on of the day. And we have this API documentation that we're talking about. So we have the hot, the schema, we have what's called barrier out or basic out or barrier out basically. And we now call on this to generate our view for us. But before that, we need to enable the thing that's in our application. Now that is actually cool and nice. Now I guess we have done with this structure and basic thing that they have for a lot of more. There are a lot more. Is like that one all the engine and some classes that is available for us to use. But these are just the basic ones that we just need to like be aware of. And that's I need also to be aware before I leave this video is that there is what is called database connection. Database is what is called the automatic database, and it does support uh, MySQL and progress automatically. So you can just write this your environment that is. When that's from version 3 points plus is going to support some just say auto connect through. You need to submit so do it automatically, do the connection for you automatically. You don't need to be doing it again. I guess you need to support to automatically. But if you want to manually create it, you can have your this like it's in your main class. Yes, now. Another thing we need to learn is this table and colon. I'm going to learn this later on in your class. Before that, so what I want you to be aware is that we have what is called all this connection, which happen in our ENV. So our ENV file is actually a essential folder for us because this is where we declare our our class, our database or anything that we're going to use. We have what's called email also. This is where we declare our email that we use for our project. Then we have another thing called Google, which is basically called email configuration like this and alt configuration, and this is used for your all alts, another configuration that you need to do. Now you tell your thing that because thing that actually do a hot for you automatically. Now if you want to do your hot, you need to know where to check your hot user, so you won't be creating different table for your application. So now when you say hot, it's going to give you going to put the name of the table of your hot user where you want to your hot table. You have your colon, email colon, you have your password colon, you put it here. That's your name colon, the name that you expected to be. There's what we call provider and provider ID. And all these guys are created to you. It's going to be added to your migration, whether you put it or not, it's going to add it to your migration automatically by free that. So you won't even know how it's being added. You want to add it to your migration by then automatically. Now, there's another one called client ID for robots. We have what's called this also for Google, we have Facebook, we have Apple signing, and we have GWT and the base URL. All these things have been done. You can also uncomment this to let Finder know how many hours the GWT you want to do. Do your application require email verification so that it's going to know the flow of your application before anybody can sign in. And you need to like, have the security without you even writing a lot of logic. That's why all these EMV are actually necessary for you to look at our master and put their value there. So depending on how you want to do it later, you should just look at it. And then we have this if you read me, okay, these are just your package of this. So everything that you're looking for are actually in your printers, and that's all that you need. Thank you.